So, Alan, you've had a good night. First night, the riders are all through, and the solos. Looking at it, looks like quite a scrap going on with Philip Colbert and Pierre Bischoff, and Colbert with the early advantage.
Yeah, very much so. They were certainly together for a very long time, and when it comes to a race like this, it's all in the who's going to break first. In other words, who's going to actually stop and take the break first. And I think with Philip at the moment, his game plan is to keep going as long as possible. If you look back at what he did last year when he won the Irish Ultra Challenge, he had very, very little sleep in that, kept going as long as he could. So I think the strategy he's probably going to play at this moment is to go as far as he can, get as much of a lead as he can, and then take a break. And if he can take a break at that time and then get back out on the road before he's caught, I suspect that that's what he's going to be doing. So there's a little bit of a gap that's opened up. Now, you have to remember as well, Bischoff is absolutely an amazing athlete. Like, he's come into this now with a broken collarbone. But then he's won race across America with a broken collarbone. So, you can
It's normal.
look at that whatever way you want. Yeah, it's normal for him nearly at this stage. It's part of his preparation. But what we would say is that the Irish roads can be very tough as well. You don't get too many smooth roads. It's certainly up around the north where they are at the moment and coming over towards Sligo, I think. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, William McLennan running in third at the moment. John Musgrove looking for that elusive finish in fourth. Graham Mackin, Zamboni, Sorrel, Longworth, and the rest, and also the sole female competitor among these solo runners. Aoife Henry's still out there and pushing hard at the very northern
And
part of the route.
she's not just pushing hard; she's doing extremely well. I've had some reports coming in from some marshals up there going, she's looking very smooth on the bike. She's got a great style on the bike, and she's able to maintain that. Normally, when people start to get tired, you can see it in them, but actually, she's riding very, very well at the moment and very strong. I think she's she's powerful. One of the things you watch out for sometimes, like if you look at her crew, unfortunately, she's only got two, which means that they're going to have to take sleep breaks as well.
Right.
And so that's going to slow her down a little bit, I think. And so, where other crews might have four or five people that can rotate, she's actually going to have to manage sleep, not just for herself, but for two other people with her. But at the moment, she is motoring. Like, she's again, very, very strong. And there's no sign of her slowing up at the moment. She's up there in Malin Head right now. And
Flying.
when she comes across the top of that, yeah, it'll be fantastic.
Yeah, looking among the two-person teams, White River Wheelers, Peter McKeown and Andy McAfee, they have a pretty handy advantage at the moment.
Yeah, very much so. Very strong guys. And I think they're just going to keep stretching out that lead, to be honest. So it's really, really good. The four-person teams then as well, there's a bit of a battle going on, but there's a bit of a battle going on, I think, more so between second and third. Team Recycle at the moment are doing quite well. They're leading that. They're third place team on the road.
Right.
But the eight-person teams, we really want to watch out for. Because you remember on the start line, the guys said, look, we're aiming to break the record on this. Now, the record was set by Strategic Lines. That was way back in 2013. And in Race Around Ireland, we go by average speed, not the time it takes you to do the distance, because the distance can vary a little bit. And so they're looking to do an average speed for the whole course of over 31.96. So basically they're looking for 32 kilometers an hour. At the moment, they're over 36 kilometers an hour.
Wow.
But again, it's been able to sustain that for the whole circuit. So it'll be
Extraordinary.
interesting to see how long they can keep that going for. Because again, it's not just the riders getting tired; it's also the crew getting tired. And if mistakes start to come in, that can slow down the average speed. But at the moment, they are absolutely flying out there.
Yeah, that's the eight-person, and of course they're the leaders on the road. Is the H8 Lawlers, or do we say hate Lawlers? We need to find out a little bit more about these guys. So if you want to ring in or get in touch on social media, we'd love to hear from you. Carn Wheeler's also pretty much in touch there, so that's quite the scrap between those two teams at the front.
Yeah, Karen Wheelers are a strong team, an exceptionally strong team. And as I say, it only takes a few mistakes from the leaders for the guys behind to push on. So it's going to come down to how quick the changeovers can be. not just the speed on the road, but how fast they can actually change over. So for anybody that doesn't know how changeovers normally work for teams on the road, what happens is you will have a rider coming in with the follow vehicle behind them, and you'll have the other rider standing on the side of the road waiting for them. And as the first rider comes in, then the rider who's waiting can start to take off nice and easy. And it's all they have to do is cross wheels. And the moment they cross wheels, the rider coming in will move to one side, and the rider going out then will get up to full speed. So the faster they can do that, the faster they'll get around. It's all about the changeovers. It's like watching a 4x100 meter relay. It's not just about the four athletes, it's about how fast they can change the baton. And that's what makes the likes of this race extremely exciting. And so it's how they can keep that going throughout the whole race.
Yeah, if you want to look at changeovers, the Beach Boys did a super Lego representation or demo of that. It's worth checking out on the social channels. Looking at the Ultra, Christopher Beattie with a handy advantage over Sean Hernan.
Yeah, that's going to be a nice little battle. We'll keep watching that because it looks like there's a bit of a gap, but it's not a big enough gap that can't be closed relatively quickly if Christopher has to take a bit of a nap or something. So, yeah, there's a good battle there. Now, you have to remember as well that Sean's done this a few times. So, Sean's running on his own pace. He knows exactly what he needs to do. He's not only done the Irish Ultra, but he's raced in the Race Around Ireland before and podiumed twice. So he knows this course and he knows what he can do on the course. So he's pacing himself at the moment. And it'll be interesting to see then as he gets over closer to his home place around Galway, what he'll start to do at that point. So that's definitely one race you really need to be keeping a close eye on at the moment.
Yeah, it's more uncharted territory for Christopher Beattie, but he's got the advantage in the ultras. They'll finish first, of course, the companion event to Race Around Ireland. Any dramas or incidents or any notable events during the night, or has it all been more or less smooth sailing for all the competitors out there?
It's been pretty much smooth sailing. We have one issue with a car where a fuse went. And unfortunately, when a fuse goes, it means that some of the lights went out. And so the rider was perfectly fine, but the car didn't have any lights on the rear. So there had to be a car change in the middle of the night. And so what happens in that instance then is the crew are kind of thrown off because they suddenly have to change everything over and make sure that the tracker is changed over and the crew are ready to go. So it can slow the rider down a little bit. So it's the small, tiny little things. It's not always about the rider, as I say. It's about the crew and the equipment that we have on other sides. So that was one little incident, but again, they got over that. So it's fine. Other than that, the weather has been so good. Everybody seems to be riding well, and everybody seems to be enjoying it out there.
Yeah,
So it's all good.
Perfect conditions and maybe the potential for a record or two among the various different groups out on the road. Okay, well, listen, thanks a million for that, Alan. We'll catch up with you again a little bit later on today.
Thanks, Declan. Chat to you then.